Lindsey Graham is very triggered by Liz Cheney. I've shown you before him. I think what makes him so upset about former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney is that she's embodying every principle that he's thrown into the garbage can and then splashed gasoline onto and then lit a flame. And he sees in her the courage to stand by one's principles above their party. And it makes him feel horrible about himself. And so, because he's choosing relevance over principle and power over principle, he then tries to project that onto Liz Cheney. I'm going to show you this interview. We'll flash back to the last time he was so angry he could just burst into tears on TV. And then I have for you, completely unrelated, the funniest thing ever. Okay? But this was titled on Mediaite, Lindsey Graham blows a gasket. Blows a gasket. I got to use that phrase more often. Over Liz Cheney's bullshit. Don't listen to a word she says. Let's see what Lindsey Graham's been up to. While we do, please make sure you have clicked the subscribe button. As another clarification, that has nothing to do with becoming a member, which is a paid thing, but instead completely free, supporting the YouTube channel by clicking that subscribe button. Thank you to each and every one of the 945, I think, plus 1,000 people who have subscribed, and we're trying to get to 1 million. Here's Lindsey Graham.
Cheney, she is selling out conservatism to stay relevant. She got waxed in Wyoming, got defeated like a drum, beat like a drum, and she's campaigning with Kamala Harris. You're telling me you're pro-life and you want this lady to be president who believes in abortion up to the moment of birth? You're telling me you believe in a strong military when she advocated getting out of Afghanistan, the last person in the room with Biden? You're telling me you believe in energy independence and you want her to be president, stopping oil and gas drilling?
Okay, before going further, 34 seconds in, and he's already said so many things that are wrong or misleading. So quickly to go through it, and then we'll continue. He acted like Liz Cheney lost and then was bitter about it, and so then she turned on Trump. She actually spoke out against Trump. She was very popular. She had won her last election in Wyoming by a landslide, and then because she stood on principle, because she stood against her own party, for the sake of our Constitution, the Republican electorate turned on her, and that's why she lost. She chose to give up power to be principled. Then he starts listing off policies before addressing those, because every single one he was distorted on. It doesn't make sense to argue against Liz Cheney on particular specific policies that in a healthy democracy we disagree on, even though he's misconstruing those policies, because she's saying our foundational thing, our democratic process is threatened by him. And so even though she disagrees with Kamala Harris on so many things, she has to support her because Harris is the only one who supports our Constitution, as shown by Trump's behavior in trying to upend our constitutional process by staying in power, even though he lost that election. And then on the three things he listed, abortion up until the moment of birth, addressed that a bunch of times. The fear-mongering about ninth-month pregnancies is both distorted and disgusting. The only stuff we're talking about there is when there's some sort of medical crisis that needs to be addressed. And also, again, the most tragic moment in someone's life where they find out after 9 months of pregnancy, something went wrong health-wise. And they're going to be losing something they were expecting to a child they were expecting. And then they lie about it and pretend like there's these elective abortions taking place. It's sick. And then he said that the strong military point isn't valid by Vice President Harris because she supported withdrawing from Afghanistan. As chaotic and devastating with the loss of life as that was, you can both believe in a strong military, as Vice President Harris does, and not think we should have been engaged in a forever war. And then finally, he says that she doesn't want energy independence. We're more energy independent now than ever before, including under Trump, and we're drilling at record highs while she's vice president. Here's more.
Liz Cheney, don't listen to her. She's selling out conservatism to stay relevant. She's not relevant in terms of conservatism. She no longer has a voice. As to the Senate, They're trying to destroy Tim Sheehy now, who's leading in Montana, a certified war hero, Navy SEAL, wounded, Purple Heart, Bronze Star with Valor. They're accusing him of lying about his military record. The race is tightening. Please send money through my website, lindseygraham.com. All the money goes to Tim Sheehy.
I wonder why he wants it through his website. Maybe he's going to get something.
Be the 51st senator from to get us back the Senate. He's from Montana. They're trying to destroy him like they did Kavanaugh. Help me help Tim Sheehy get us the Republican majority. Tell every friend you got, if you don't have a friend, go make one, to get them out to the polls. Here's the good news.
Lindsey Graham always says that, by the way. If you don't have any friends, go make one. I'm sure other people have said that too, but he always says it. I just don't think... Sorry, let me stay in character. I just don't think if I were advocating for people to go get their friends to vote, it would always pop in my mind that so many people out there don't have friends. Unless I guess, if I struggled with that, then maybe that's why it would always pop in my head. By the way, he always brings up Kavanaugh. They tried to destroy Kavanaugh. It's like that was his glory days. Because when he keeps bringing up that Liz Cheney must be doing this for relevance, it's such a tell. He's just telling on himself, because that is reportedly what he's all obsessed with, is being relevant, which is why he's sacrificed everything he correctly said about Trump before to now be in favor of him. And he so pitifully makes these arguments because all he cares about is staying politically relevant. And so I guess he felt the most relevant when he was leading the charge to defend Kavanaugh or something. That always comes out of nowhere. Who's talking about Kavanaugh right now as it pertained to his hearings? I don't know.
Kavanaugh won. Trump's going to win. We're going to win the Senate. We're going to push through all this bullshit. And I'm not going to listen to anything she has to say, Liz Cheney. We're not garbage as Trump supporters. And women who support Trump are not dumb garbage. So all I can say, folks, this is the election of a lifetime. Liz Cheney is campaigning for Democrats to take back the House. She endorsed Mike Rogers' opponent in Michigan. She endorsed the Democrat to help Democrats take back the Senate. Don't listen to words she says.
Gosh, she just seems constantly on the precipice. The instant before complete breakdown. And yes, she's supporting people who are running against election deniers who bolster the deterioration of the foundation of all this stuff we're talking about. Last time Lindsey Graham addressed Liz Cheney, he was also very upset.
It was Joe Biden who got us out.
Let's actually skip forward because he's going to go through a bunch of points that I just addressed.
Worked for former President Trump. These are former Trump administration
to every Republican
officials
supporting her, what the hell are you doing? You're supporting the most radical nominee in the history of American politics. The Green New Deal, Medicare for all.
Things she's not running on.
She was the last person in the room before Biden decided to withdraw from Afghanistan. She was the border czar. She cast the tie-breaking vote for the Inflation Reduction Act that gives
Good for her. The Inflation Reduction Act is extremely effective.
you high prices. What are you doing? You're trying to convince me that Donald Trump's rhetoric is the danger to this country. The danger to this country is the policies of Biden and Harris. Her fingerprints are all over this disaster. And I can't take 4 more years of this crap.
All right.
When you support her, you're supporting 4 more years of garbage policy.
Senator, we got a lot more to get.
Don't smile at the end of that.
We got a
Lindsey.
lot more.
You're supporting the complete and total destruction of this country. It doesn't match so much. So, again, I think he's so upset by the Liz Cheney advocacy because it represents everything he knows he should do. He knows that he knows better. And Liz Cheney knew what he knows, except she acted better. A quick intermission before getting to the funniest thing, and this is also one of the funnier things I've seen. I think this is so hard to introduce. I think Lindsey Graham just might be one of the people that Biden has this to say about.
I'll tell you what, man. When I was in Scranton, we used to have a little trouble going down the plot once in a while from Greenwich. But I'm serious. These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
I'm going to play that. That's going to be my alarm clock. These are kind of guys you like to smack in the ass. Oh, gosh. Consensually, of course. All right. Now, also on a funny note, I stumbled across this video of Alex Jones. And it directed me towards a video of Tucker Carlson that we'll be looking at, talking about how he was attacked by a demon. And before I play anything, as my microphone, a demon is attacking my nose, I want to make sure I caveat this by saying I don't intend or don't want anyone to take anything I say as offending people with religious views that may align with the demon talk that we're going to be hearing here, or spiritual views, or whatever it might be. I'm not trying to disrespect anyone. I happen to find Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson specifically laughable, so I will be laughing. But don't perceive this as going beyond the bounds of that. So without context, all I knew was that Alex Jones was addressing something Tucker Carlson related. And I clicked on this Twitter link, and here's how it started.
And I said, recently, has anyone laid hands on you?
Okay. Has anyone...
And I said, recently, has anyone laid hands on you?
Why is American politics the craziest stuff ever? I asked Tucker, I said, recently, has anyone laid hands on you? Has anyone looked you in the eyes and told you you deserve a man's touch? Has anyone held you tight and told you it's gonna be okay and treated you like the man that you are? Okay.
And I said, recently, has anyone laid hands on you?
Because I think that I just might. Okay, I'm sorry.
It just came to me, and he said, he got really freaked out. He kind of got up. He went to the bathroom. He came back, and he said, I haven't even told my wife this. I haven't told him.
I'm sorry, this is so funny to me. He got freaked out because Alex Jones sounds like he's making a move on him. Oh gosh. All right, full clip. No more me talking. I'm sorry.
And I said, recently, has anyone laid hands on you? It just came to me, and he said, he got really freaked out. He kind of got up. He went to the bathroom. He came back, and he said, I haven't even told my wife this. I haven't told anybody. He goes, just a week ago, I was on an airplane flying back here, and this happened a while back before that, and it started clicking to him, was that when this happened? So we were like simpatico. We were like, linked up.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm going to tell more of the story tomorrow. I need to call him and get permission. In fact, he did tell me part of it not to ever tell.
I think I know which part.
And then I'll tell you my story. And I've only had what they call a poltergeist. It's the German name for it, angry spirit. Because they throw people around and smash stuff. Only had it happen once. Clear blue, middle of the day. Growing, I was like 11 years old. Dislocated my shoulder. I was a tough kid. I didn't figure it out till later that day. I'll tell the story tomorrow.
Okay. Whatever your beliefs are, I assert that I don't believe that happened. I don't believe that this story happened. Okay? It's never happened since, and when you were 11, you dislocated your shoulder and it was a poltergeist. Or you fell off your bike. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's definitely another justification. I, as an 11-year-old, thought that I experienced a lot of things that probably weren't exactly the way that I remember them. But apparently, after being asked, has anyone ever laid hands on you recently? Tucker, of course, went to the restroom. And then says, you know, there are things that you can't tell anyone. But then Tucker tells the story here.
Do you think the presence of evil is kickstarting people to wonder about the good?
That's what happened to me.
That's what happened to you?
Oh yeah, I had a direct experience with it.
In the milieu of journalism or just...
Nope, in my bed at night, and I got attacked while I was asleep with my wife and 4 dogs in the bed and mauled. Physically mauled.
In a spiritual attack by a demon?
Yeah, by a demon. Or by something unseen that left
Is that right?
claw marks on my sides, on my...
So it left physical marks.
Oh, they're still there. Yeah. A year and a half ago.
Was your wife terrified? I know you were.
I wasn't. I was totally confused. I woke up and I couldn't breathe and I thought I was going to suffocate, and I walked around outside, and then I walked in and my wife and dogs had not woken up, and they're very light sleepers. And then I had these terrible pains on my rib cage and on my shoulder, and I was just in my boxer shorts, and I went and flipped on the light in the bathroom, and I had 4 claw marks on either side underneath my arms and on my left shoulder, and they're bleeding.
Wait, they were bleeding?
They're bleeding, yeah. No, they're actual claw marks. And I sleep on my side, so I wasn't clawing myself. I don't have long nails. And they didn't fit.
Was Alex Jones clawing you? That's it. I can't do it.
At my hands anyway. But yeah, that happened. So I'm not from a world where things like that happen. I never heard of anything like that happening before. I had no idea.
Okay, again, I'm sure this was scary, and I'm sorry to Tucker that this happened.
What that was, I knew it was spiritual immediately.
You did? Okay, that was going to be my question.
Yeah. I don't understand to this day. I'm not going to put it.
You didn't try to refute the spiritual part in your own mind. You went right into the...
Well, it didn't make any sense, and it doesn't now.
What if you rolled over on one of your dogs? You have 4 dogs in the bed? He says he has 4 dogs in the bed and doesn't address that maybe one of the dogs scratched him, which would leave claw marks, which could cause you to bleed. That would be my hypothesis. My question is, with these stories, it happens 3 times. All right, now you're thinking, what the heck's happening? But you wake up with claw marks on you, and you go into the bathroom and you go, what the heck? And you're sleeping in a bed with 4 dogs, and your first thought is, demon? I don't know. That's all innuendo aside. I am sorry that happened to Tucker, and I hope that he's okay, and I hope that he can get back to being his normal, dishonest, terrible self publicly. I'm glad that this experience didn't change anything about his approach to life, and he still just wants to inject as much dishonesty into our political discourse as possible. And I'm glad that maybe if someone hasn't laid a hand on him in a while, Alex Jones could help with that. I don't know. I don't know the nature of their simpatico, as Jones said, relationship. But apparently that is that. And I hope I handled that with the care and the respect and the gentleness that it deserves. Here's a promo.
We have to show that the MAGA way will only ever end in electoral defeat.
Just completely off the rails consistently, openly, brazenly, and blatantly insult. It is a sign of his own desperation.
So friends, if you're eligible voters, I want you to keep this in mind. Donald Trump will never be held accountable for anything he does if you give him back the keys to the White House. The stakes are too high.